Good afternoon. My name is David Conway and I'm the Scoutmaster of Troop 106. It is my privilege to welcome you to Troop 106's Court of Honor, Eagle Scout Court of Honor for Douglas Mallison, who has earned Boy Scouts' highest rank, Eagle Scout. I would now like to invite Eagle Scout Jake Harper forward to lead the presentation of the colors.
Thank you. Please rise for the presentation of the colors. Color guard attention, color guard advance. Color guard, please post the colors. Would everyone please join in the Pledge of Allegiance? Those in uniform salute, those not, right hand over heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Color guard, return to ranks. Color guard, dismiss. Thank you. You may now be seated. I would now like to invite Scoutmaster and fellow Eagle Scout David Cumby to come forward and lead us in invocation.
That's the first time he got to say that because he just got his Eagle last week. The Scout is Reverend. Dear God, thank you for this opportunity for us to come together as family, friends, leaders, and fellow Scouts on this significant day in the life of Douglas Mallison. Today is a celebration of a journey filled with challenges, friendship, struggles, and occasionally a little bit of fun. Today we will think about all the merit badges earned along the way, the oaths committed to, the character developed, and the service to our community. Little by little, month by month, and year by year, he was faithful, and we celebrate his faith, commitment, and hard work. So we ask for your blessing today for Doug, his family who has supported him and encouraged him, and his fellow Scouts who have helped him along the way. Bless the Scout leaders of Troop 106, and all those who are physically here or in spirit. Continue to walk with Doug as he takes the next steps in scouting and becomes the person you will desire him to be. In the name of Jesus I pray, amen. I would now like to introduce you to our Eagle Scout candidate, Douglas Mallison. If the Eagle escorts could escort him to the stage. And while they're doing that, Assistant Scoutmaster Jennifer Cumby, please come forward to open this Court of Honor.
It is my privilege on behalf of the Greater Tampa Bay Area Council, Thunderbird District, to open this Eagle Court of Honor in honor of Douglas Mallison. To earn the highest rank in scouting, a scout must spend a great deal of time and effort. Therefore, the occasion that recognizes his accomplishments should be memorable. Today, we shall follow the light of the Eagle Trail as we recognize the accomplishments of Douglas Mallison. When a young man becomes a Boy Scout, within him lies something that we call the spirit of scouting. The single lighted candle before you represents the spirit. Because the spirit of scouting embodies the principles of the Scout Oath and Law, It becomes a shining beacon of inspiration. Alone, this light may seem feeble, but when multiplied by more than 3.5 million boys in scouting around the world, it is powerful indeed. After a boy enters scouting, the scout law that he promises to obey begins to guide his life. One by one, using the flame from the spirit of scouting, we shall light the symbols for each part of the scout law. There are 12 parts. Each is an important foundation of the building of strong character. Will Mr. Harper and Mr. Burns please join me?
Will all scouts in attendance please rise? Repeat after me. A scout is trustworthy.
Scout is trustworthy.
A scout is loyal.
Scout is loyal.
A scout is helpful.
A scout is helpful.
A scout is friendly.
A scout is friendly.
A scout is courteous.
A scout is courteous.
A scout is kind.
A scout is kind.
A scout is obedient.
A scout is obedient.
A scout is thrifty.
A scout is thrifty.
A scout is brave.
A scout is brave.
A scout is clean.
A scout is clean.
And a scout is reverent.
A scout is reverent.
Two. Please be seated. In the scout oath, the young scout promises upon his honor to do his best to do his duty, first to God and his country. Second, to other people by helping them at all times. And third, to himself by keeping himself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. You see how the light from the spirit of scouting is now beginning to grow and become bigger.
Now, of Eagle Summit, flanked by the lesser peaks that represent the star and life ranks. To the new scout, they are very far away, but they will come a lot closer as the light from the spirit of scouting continues to spread. Douglas started as a scout. The tenderfoot badge is the second rank a scout receives. It stands at the foot of the Eagle Scout Trail. Once inspired by the spirit of scouting, he won't stay a tenderfoot for very long. Putting a few simple achievements behind him, he will shortly climb to the rank of second class. The requirements for second class become more difficult. A scout must learn to be self-sufficient in the outdoors and continue to render service to others. Now the scout is ready for the challenge to attain first class. Although the requirements become more difficult, he keeps climbing until he finally comes to the day when he tops the first summit along the Eagle Scout Trail. There he receives his first class badge. Would like Mr. Serrera to join us.
A broad field of merit badges awaits the first class scout. More than 100 merit badges guide the scout to explore careers, hobbies, community interest items. The scout needs but a total of 6 to conquer the Star Scout Summit. Probably a lot sooner than he thought possible. The scout finds himself standing on the Star Ridge. Thus, through leadership, service, and advancement, he conquers the first of the 3 great peaks along the Eagle Scout Trail. The trail to the next summit, Life Scout Peak, isn't easy. There's leadership to demonstrate, service to others, plenty of hard work in mastering 5 additional merit badges, and helping fellow scouts. The higher the scout climbs, the fewer travelers he meets along the trail. Yet there are no impossible barriers along the way. This Life Scout goal can be achieved, but it takes real effort. While the rank of Life Scout is a coveted one and deserving of all who obtain it, the Eagle Scout Trail does not end there. It leads towards a higher summit. The pathway narrows and steepens considerably as it winds along the ledges of personal achievement and mountain pastures of troop accomplishments. Mile by mile, the trail becomes more tiring. Many challenges must be conquered in these last miles. Before the highest summit along the Eagle Trail can be completed, additional merit badges must be earned. Some of them are very difficult, and leadership and service to others must not be forgotten. Only with the greatest perseverance and courage can a scout gain the thrill of victory that comes by looking back down the trail from the very top of the Eagle Scout Summit. Eagle Scout escorts, would you please bring Doug's grandfather, Mr. Thomas Mallison, to the stage, please?
Douglas, I have the honor to give you the Eagle Charge on the occasion of your elevation to the highest rank of scouting. The Boy Scouts of all nations constitute one of the most wholesome and significant influences in the world's history. You have been counted worthy of this high rank for the Boy Scouts of America. The foremost responsibility of an Eagle Scout is to live with honor. To an Eagle Scout, honor is the foundation of all character. He knows that a scout is trustworthy is the very first point of the scout law for a good reason. The Eagle Scout lives honorably, not only because honor is important to him, but because of the vital significance of the example he sets for other scouts. Living honorably reflects credit on his home, his church, his troop, and his community. May the white of the Eagle Badge remind you to always live with honor. The second obligation of an Eagle Scout is loyalty. The Scout is true to his family, Scout leaders, friends, school, and nation. His loyalty to his troop and brother Scouts makes him pitch in and carry his share of the load. All of these help to build the loyalty to which means the devotion to community, to country, to one's own ideals, and to God. Let the blue of the Eagle Badge always inspire your loyalty. The third always been a quality by which men measure themselves and others. To a scout, bravery means not only the courage to face physical danger, but the determination to stand up for the right. Trusting in God, his faith in his fellow man, he looks forward to each day, seeking his share of the world's work to do. Let the red of the Eagle Badge remind you always of courage. The fourth obligation of an Eagle Scout is to be cheerful. To remind the Eagle Scout is to always wear a smile. The red, white, and blue ribbon is attached to the scroll of the second-class Scout Award, which it ends up turned into a smile. The final responsibility of an Eagle Scout is service. The Eagle Scout extends a helping hand to those who still toil up Scouting's trail, just as others helped him on his climb to Eagle. The performance of the daily good turn takes on a new meaning when he enters a more adult life, continuing service to others. The Eagle stands as a protector of the weak and helpless. He aids and comforts the unfortunate and the oppressed. He upholds the right for having achieved Scouting's highest award. But wear your award with humility, ever mindful that the Eagle Scout is looked up to as an example. May the Scout Oath and the Scout Law be your guide for tomorrow and onward. I would like all the Eagle Scouts in the audience to stand at this time and rededicate themselves by repeating the Eagle Scout promise with our new Eagle Scout. Repeat after me. I reaffirm my allegiance
I reaffirm my allegiance
to the three promises of the Scout Oath.
to the three promises of the Scout Oath.
I thoughtfully recognize
I thoughtfully recognize
and take upon myself
and take upon myself
the obligations and responsibilities
the obligations and responsibilities
of an Eagle Scout.
of an Eagle Scout.
On my honor, I
On
do
my honor.
this
And I witness
to make my training an example,
to make my training an example,
my rank and my influence
my rank and my influence
count strongly for better scouting
count strongly for better scouting
and for better citizenship
and for better citizenship
in my troop,
in my troop,
in my community,
my community,
and in my contact with other people.
and my contact with other people.
To this, I pledge my sacred honor.
To this I pledge my sacred honor.
Two. I yield the stage to Mr. Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. President. Eagle Scout Douglas Nelson, you're to be congratulated for reaching the highest peak of the trail on your Trail of Eagle. Your diligence and hard work certainly have paid off. If the Eagle Scout escorts would now please bring Rebecca and Craig Mallison, the parents of Doug, to the stage. Doug, as an Eagle Scout, all the eyes of scouting, yes, the eyes of the world, will be upon you. The traditions of an Eagle Scout are very high. May you live up to those traditions, always guided by our spirit of scouting that is represented by all these candles blazing before us. The Eagle Scout badge that you're about to receive is emblematic of that spirit of scouting. Mr. Nelson, you can.
Notice, this Eagle badge was given to me when I was a 16-year-old scout in 1957. I was a member of Troop 106. It's not the same Troop 106 that we have here. My Troop 106 was in the Scenic Trails Council in Bear Lake, Michigan. It's coincidental that there's a link in the place where both of us grew up. It's also coincidental that we both share a love of the outdoors and recognize our responsibility to others as a part of our growing up and being a part of the world that we live in. I give you this badge as a token of my pride in the high accomplishment that's being recognized for you today. In a few minutes, you'll receive your field badge from your mother. But at this time, I'd like to entrust this badge to you with my deepest respect for a job well done. Just where you can look there. Ready? Go straight. The old badges didn't have the little spikes that the ones do today. It's got a clasp, it's a little barrier to put on. Congratulations.
Rebecca, please pen this Eagle Scout Award on your son so that the whole world may know that he is an Eagle Scout.
So you're saying I find it easier, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
We're just taking it positive. We'll see.
I don't know how to do that.
Eagle Scout Doug, now please pin this on your mother in recognition of her love, encouragement, faith, and trust in you and in your future.
Or you can hand it.
As an Eagle Scout, may you never disappoint her.
Do it there? Yeah.
And Doug, please pin this father's pin on your father as a recognition of his love, encouragement, faith, and trust in you and your future. And may you never disappoint him as an Eagle Scout. Doug, you've made your troop very proud of you, and may the qualities that inspired you to achieve this continue to lead you on to even greater success in your life. As a token of the troop's pride in you, we want to present you this eagle neckerchief and slide that your father will place around your neck. Okay, may that be a reminder that you will continue to support Doug as he continues to grow into a man. Will the escorts please bring the grandparents forward? And while they're coming up, I also want to recognize Doug with his bronze pin. He earned enough merit badges when he earned his Eagle to earn his bronze pin. So I'm going to put that on this badge here. And he still has time to earn more before the birthday.
You got a month, kid.
There we go. Congratulations. Douglas wanted to present his grandparents' grandparent Eagle pins, so here you go. Could I get everyone in attendance please to rise and let's give a round of applause for our new Eagle Scout. Will the Eagle Scout escorts please come forward and help the grandparents off the stage? And while they're doing that, I'll have Mr. John Soror come forward to read a letter from the National Office.
Dear Douglas, congratulations, you're now an Eagle Scout. In completing all requirements, you've mastered many valuable skills and made scouting oath and law a part of your life. What you have accomplished is impressive. It is also pretty rare. Fewer than 7 out of every 100 scouts ever achieve this rank. It means you've dedicated yourself, put in the hours, most important, found ways to benefit your community. Remember that your name now appears on an exclusive list of those members have exceeded in all field, Remember that your name now appears on an exclusive list whose members have excelled in fields from business, government to education. The common trait you all share is leadership. We are counting on you to aim high and continue leading by your service and example. Again, congratulations and best wishes for many more successes. Sincerely, Dan Otto, National Chair, Boy Scouts of America.
Congratulations. So I want to thank my family, and if mom and dad could come up here, please. I'm going to give my flowers and then give back to my dad for supporting me throughout my journey to Eagle Scout. And then my dad came to camp outs with me a lot and was an instructor for me for 3 of my merit badges. And then I want to thank my grandparents, Grandpa Tom, for presenting me with this Eagle badge and encouraging me to get Eagle Scout. And then to Nana, as well as Grandpa, for making the trip down here from Ohio, so all of my grandparents could attend today. And then I wanted to recognize my granddad here for spending the time with me to make Pinewood Derby cars and opening your workshop to other scouts, and for making the candle and badges that is there, and for the Arab Light flags that you made for me and other scouts in my group. And then to Graham for making my dinner early. That wouldn't be good. Wouldn't go to meetings late or hungry. And then I want to thank my 3 mentors. So I guess I'll start with Mr. Cumby. He was my scoutmaster throughout my scouting in Troop 106. He attended every scouting event that I can think of and helped us prepare for things like summer camp and camp outs in general. And he helped me with my rank requirements, signing of my blue cards, and scoutmaster conferences, so that was a big help for me to get to where I was today. And then Mr. Cumby taught me several skills, including camping, backpacking, and cooking, just to name a few. And then I learned how to become a leader from watching his leadership. His ability to lead us and help us be prepared was a big part of my success in Scout.
She always pushed me forward to complete requirements for ranks and the merit badges like family life. And she would go out of her way to help us with what we needed to learn and work on, which is something I really appreciated. She got me ready for Boy Scouts and helped set the stage for me to join the troop. She helped me be successful, which is something I'm grateful for. And then my last mentor was Mr. Johnny. He's kind of like the big kid who could drive. He liked to tell funny jokes or give us riddles on the way to camp. His sense of humor is very welcoming to scouts, especially new scouts, like I once was. He really missed campouts and other scouting events as well. He was very involved in our learning and guided us through skills rather than giving us an answer. I learned many skills like first aid and CPR. It helps that another one wouldn't bite the dust, which was a song he liked to use. Another important thing that helped motivate us all was his positivity, which encouraged me to do my best. He put in a lot of effort in teaching us and kept us on schedule so we could do everything planning for certain camp out. Sometimes I really wanted to sleep in. But I think waking up early for several things, like the mile swim, was worth it. For those who don't know, Mr. John Joe and I attempted a mile swim in Georgia, which was really, really freezing.
Yeah.
And Mr. John was the only one that complete that. But anyways, I chose Mr. John to be my mentor for my Eagle Scout project, who gave me guidance in the planning and execution parts of my project. So thank you, Mr. John, for being a big part, like meeting with me this year and helping me with my fire. And then being very involved, guiding and teaching us through new skills, his positivity and sense of humor were all big parts to Mr. John's leadership and influence on me. Another thing about Mr. John is that he always liked his Mountain Dew. So I can get you some Mountain Dew.
Thank you. And Paul too. Thank you, Doug. So the kid came from.
No, I believe my dad has something to say, so leave the stage up to you.
First of all, congratulations, Doug. Very proud of you. But these past few weeks getting ready for this Court of Honor, I've had a lot of time to think back at all he's been through and how do we get here? And so I think back to when he was 3 to 6 years old. I used to take him on the boat any chance I got. We'd go fishing or go for a boat ride or just have a picnic on the water. If we were at a park that had a trail, we'd take a hike in the woods. It was evident right on, early on, that he was interested in outdoors, and being a fish and wildlife guy, I wanted to encourage that. And so we looked for a group of people that we could enjoy the great outdoors with. And we heard about Troop 106 and went to our first Cub Scout meeting. That was in September of 2011. I went into that meeting thinking we would find out what they're all about, go home and talk about it, see if maybe it's something Doug might like to do. But then we met Miss Jennifer. And she had another idea. She signed him up on the spot. There was no question about whether he was going to do this or not. And so I remember it went something like, how old are you, Douglas? He says, 6. That's the perfect age to start scouting, which now that I know Miss Jennifer, I'm pretty sure that's her answer, no matter what age he was going to say. But she went on, the 6-year-olds are Tiger Pack, and I'm the pack mom for Tigers. You'll be with me, welcome to Cub Scouts. And so I said, Doug, I guess we're coming next Monday. And so we went next Monday, and the Monday after that, and the Monday after that. Pretty soon it became habit. It was a new way of life, scouting on Mondays. And after a couple months, we were ready for the next step. We joined the pack on a camp out. We couldn't make the whole camp out, but I remember we pulled in Saturday night, set up our tent. He had a little time to join in on some painting for a conservation project, and then we had the dinner with the pack. I sat down at the campfire afterwards, and I looked around at all these Cub Scouts running around, whooping it up, having fun. And then I looked down, and there's Doug. I said, buddy, don't you want to go out there and run around with these guys? And he said, no, Dad. Can we go back to the tent now? And so we went back to the tent, and I'm thinking, okay, I went to all this trouble bringing our equipment and come all the way up here. Yeah, I'll go back to the tent. But he was happy as could be just hanging out with me in the tent that night, chilling with Dad in our home away from home. So it wasn't quite the interaction with the other boys I was after, but I'll tell you, it did what it was supposed to do. Because when we had our next meeting and they announced the next camp out, he said, Dad, can we go? And I said, yes, son, we can go. And so we went, and he went through Tiger Pack, he went through Wolf Pack, Bear Pack, Webelos 1, Webelos 2, and then the crossover ceremony into Boy Scouts. It was shortly after that, Doug told me, I'm not sure, Dad, if I want to keep doing Scouts. And I said, you still enjoy it, right? And he said, yeah. But it seemed to be a case where, been there, done that. He wasn't getting a whole lot new. He said, well, maybe Boy Scouts would be different. And I told him, if you stop now, it might be hard to catch up. You better be sure. And so he said, I'll tell you what, Dad, I'll go on the Boy Scout camp out and think about it. And that was a game changer. He went on that camp out, and he found out it's not just about the parents deciding everything they do, and the Scouts just following around and eating sugar donuts for breakfast. He found out that at the Boy Scout camp, the boys are in charge. And the parents step back, and the boys call the shots. They have a mission and a big purpose. And besides, they're in charge of the menu, so if they want sugar donuts, they can have sugar donuts. So I never heard anything after that camp out about maybe not wanting to do Scouts anymore. I started hearing better things like, these are the merit badges I want to earn on my way to Eagle. And I heard him say, I'm going to be an Eagle Scout one day, Dad. And so I was fortunate enough to be able to be a merit badge counselor for 3 of those. And fortunate enough to be able to go on the experiences he mentioned earlier that I went camping with him quite a bit. Fort DeSoto, Daytona Speedway, Reeds Across America, Fort DeSoto again. That was my favorite. And I was fortunate enough to be with the family of Troop 106, all the great mentors that he mentioned, the leaders, all the people that helped with this Court of Honor. Very thankful. But most of all, I'm thankful for being here to watch him grow from that little boy that just wanted to chill with Dad in the tent and grow to a leader that was teaching the young Scouts how to do the job. So, Doug, great job sticking with it. I'm proud of you. And so glad you decided to stay with Scouts.
Thank you, Mr. Craig. So that's a good segue, talking about chilling in a tent. So, I'd like to share a story of one of Doug's many campouts with Troop 106. It actually happens to be this week in 2018. And you see what the weather's like out there. In 2018, it was a little bit different. The high for the day was 55 degrees at 6:30 in the morning. From there, the temperature plummeted all the way down to 25 degrees that night. As Mr. Craig pointed out, the boys kind of run the troop and they do their own thing. So Doug was responsible for teaching knot tying to some of the Weeblo Scouts that were camping with us that weekend. And he's approached me, well, by 8:30 that morning, to kind of give you some perspective, I was wearing long johns, pants, a shirt, a sweatshirt, a jacket, gloves, and a hat. Doug's in his shorts and t-shirt. You're younger. Okay, fine. We'll let that go. About 9:30 or so, Doug approached me. He's like, hey, I'm teaching a knot tying class. Can you remind me how to tie a couple of these knots so I'll be ready? Sure. When he hands me the rope, our hands touch. His hands are ice cold. You need to go put some clothes on. No, I'm fine. No, seriously, you need to go put some clothes on. He kept trying to insist that he was not cold and he was fine. He's like, okay, I'm going to call this on medical. Okay, I'm not a parent telling you to do something. I'm the first aid officer. You're too cold, put some clothes on. He drops his head, looks at the ground and says, this is all I have. It's like, what? I wasn't planning on taking a shower because we were dry camping, and he had all he had. I guess he was trying to be thrifty with the laundry. But he missed that part about being prepared, too. So, needless to say, I handed him my phone and asked him to call Mr. Craig to bring him some clothes. So, needless to say, a short time later, Mr. Craig showed up and rescued Doug, probably saved his life that night. And Doug learned an important lesson on being prepared. So, Doug, thank you for the many memories, and congratulations on being an Eagle Scout. Let's see you.
Not normal glasses for this one. As Mr. Mallison stated earlier, Doug came bounding. He didn't bound. Doug came gently into our den meeting, our first or second den meeting at PAC 106 in 2011. Doug is one of the founding members of that PAC. That PAC was formed like a month before that. So he came in as a brand new with the rest of the brand news. He was, you know, when you want to describe somebody consistent, he is always consistent. His behavior is consistent. His demeanor is consistent. As Mr. Mallison alluded to, he wasn't one of the wild boys that wanted to run around and play with sticks. He wanted to be consistent, close to his parents, close to his leader. And, you know, 12 years has gone on since then. And I still, when I think of Doug, I think of consistent. He was consistently at meetings. He was consistently there. He consistently worked. He was very consistent. So, as your dad said, you have time to reflect. And as I was reflecting, you know, again, this is a group of boys that are very near and dear to me. And as I went through with my other boys, I have Dakota, who's also with them in the patrol. So I'm laying there and I'm thinking last night, you know, they're all consistent, and I've said, these boys have gone through, and these boys have gone through, and I'm laying there, and I'm like, you know what? Doug, do you remember this?
Possibly.
Look in the middle. So their first year, it's 6 years old. This was our den flag, our little tiger. And of all the boys on the back, and I'm looking at it this morning, I'm tired, because, you know, this is kind of emotional. I'm like, I know Doug's on here, I can't find his name. He is consistently right in the middle. With that being said, I want to share, as it was alluded to earlier, that only so many percentage of boys make it through to Eagle, and I can say 3 out of the 11 names on this flag at this point have made Eagle or are on their way to Eagle. I'm sorry, what? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Mallison alluded to something earlier about family, and I do want to broach this. In Scouts, we always hear we have this 1 hour a week. That's all you're gonna sign up for is 1 hour a week. That's a lot. It's just a lot. If you look at the time that a boy spends in this, it's more than 1 hour a week for them. So when we say scouting is 1 hour a week, that's not true. I want to bring also the mention, Mr. Mallison, again, of family. This young man has put a lot of work and effort into this, but you know what? So is his family. Mr. Mallison is the one who joined with Duck. He was the first parent that I met. He was also the one I conned into singing Christmas songs with his guitar for the pack, as we were a new pack and we were trying to get our things together, which he did not say no, he did cheerfully. He went through Doug's progression all the way through, and then I had the wonderful privilege of meeting Ray. Did not hesitate when I said, "Can you please make our Arrow of Light plaques?" And he did it willingly, every single one of my boys, which many of them are sitting right here, Mr. Ray, still, in the sash and eagling, or at that point as well. And then I said, "Mr. Mallison, can you help me with this? Can you be a Merit Badge counselor for this?" And he always said yes. Mr. Mallison, can you give me a contact for Powderhorn? Can you give me a name for somebody to help me do this? Absolutely. I want to address you, Doug. You have a family right there that loves you and supports you dearly. And you have a family right here that loves you and supports you dearly. My charge to you is be consistent. Wear that with pride and be a consistent example for what an eagle is. Okay? Don't make me cry. I was reminded, I forgot to call him by the name he had when he was 6 years old. He's not gonna like this. Did not call him Doug. We did not call him Douglas. We called him Wuggy. Ever since he was 6 years old, we called his child Wuggy. Still love you though. Doug, you Wuggy?
Doug, it's been great hearing about you and your family and your time in scouting. And unfortunately, as all things happen, they come to an end. And we've reached the end of your ceremony, but that does not mean we're done. He would love for you to join us after the flags are taken away. Join us next door for a reception immediately following this. So if I could have Jake come up, please.
Huh? Who's closing it? Somebody else is closing it. Not me, I'm not closing it.
May we now close this Eagle Court of Honor for Douglas Mallison with a closing flag ceremony.
And that 3 out of 11 number is really impressive because the current rate for Eagle Scout is only 5%, but 3 divided by 11 is 27.27, which means 27.27% of those people succeeded, which is a rate that's like 5 times higher than the percentage. So just decided to add that. Color guard, attention. Color guard, advance. Color guard, retrieve the colors. Color guard, return to ranks. Color guard, dismiss. So that concludes our court of honor. You may now join us at the reception.
Pictures? Pictures?
why you look like a monkey. You. I'll stuff you in the tank and leave you on it. Look behind you.
Yeah, I know, he's a retarded.
Sandy,
What do you mean?
do you wanna do some pictures?
I go over here.
Come on, I want you to get you guys
I don't want to go over here.
Guys, remember, I have to go to,
Yeah, guys.
gotta go home. Remember.
Okay, but they want you up there for two hundred do the scouts.
Jake, Jake, real quick. I'm gonna drop this for you. I gotta go.
They want you up there for
I'll get you guys before I fly out. Unfortunately. Got somewhere to be at 4 o'clock. You're next. All right. Take care. Today.